Well, hello. It's good evening in Queensland. It's a good afternoon in Israel, and it's a good morning in the UK. And here I am down the bottom here of the totem pole, as always, taking my place in the southern hemisphere. And my guest is above me, and above her again is my co-host, none other than Andrena Forrest. And I'll introduce you to Andrena to take over from here.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, good morning, everyone, or good day, and welcome to Dreaming the New Dream, wherever you are in the world. And if you are listening to the replay, today is the 11th of August, 2022, and it's a number 7 day. Anyway, on that note, it's my great pleasure to have Osie Steinberg on the show, all the way from Israel. I heard her speaking on one of the radio shows, and you were talking about being founder of the One Method. So that really touched. And I thought, oh gosh, so I connected with you, and straight away you said you would come on the show. So welcome and thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
So it's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for inviting me.
No, it's our pleasure. So I would love you to share, because I know like you're working with the archangels and the oneness, and you're doing so many things and you've done so many modalities. So would you share from your journey of life how it all gradually unfolded to where you are now?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, of course, I'm originally from Israel. I'm born and raised in a kibbutz, which is actually an agricultural community of about 1,000 people. I was basically working with the cows. We had 400 cows.
Oh, gosh.
And we were milking them and taking care of them, etc. So my education was agricultural, but I always loved animals, and I was always interested in spirituality, even though I didn't know it was spirituality. And I went to study physiotherapy in the 70s. And after that, I moved to the United States. And I've learned during my master's management of pain and different joint dysfunction all over the body. And I realized that when you deal with pain, there are other parameters, basically, which physiotherapy, medicine, or osteopathy do not touch, and that's the energy. And as I started learning more and more about energy, I think in the early 80s, I started learning intensively about energy, healing, what's there, and to help people to resolve their pain. And I realized that 80% of people's pain is actually originating from their spiritual system. So I've learned through many, many teachers through the years, I think 42 years physiotherapy, 37 years of osteopathy, and 32 years of spiritual healing. And I started after learning the anatomy, physiology, and ways people get hurt energetically, that there are more realms and more there. And I started in the 90s, early 90s, receiving direct channeling of the archangels. And the first one was the Archangel Michael. And he told me that he gave me a vision of what my purpose and direction. And he told me in 93 to leave the United States, where I lived for 15 years in Texas, in Houston. And I worked there in general hospitals and rehabilitation. And then I also had my private clinic, Houston Pain Rehabilitation Specialists. And I had multidisciplinary clinic for pain. In the early 90s, it felt natural to have all kinds of professionals to help. He told me to go back to Israel. That's where my mission and duty. And so then I went in 1995 back to Israel. And that's when regular channeling started to come from the archangels, the Archangel Gabriel, also Metatron, Sandalphon, Ariel, and other archangels, and there are 7 that are around me regularly. And the channeling actually came to help me to understand what type of injuries and problems people have, the extent of the damage, where it is on their system and on the spiritual space. So all this body of knowledge of the one method is the creator's, the one creator source method, with the light, with creation of light only, with the guidance, help, and information from the archangels of how to do it and which forces to summon to bring in for the client. So it became a body of knowledge overall, and that includes not only the anatomy, physiology, pathology of how people get injured spiritually, but also about light and darkness, about the different worlds and creations. What are the forces we're dealing with? What kind of spiritual defilement happen to a soul when forces from the darkness enters or interfere? How to deal with it without being hurt as a therapist. I was at this 2011 was informed of the 12 life lessons of the souls of humanity by the Archangel Metatron. So he gave me all the information of all the lessons of humanity and all souls of humanity, of this humanity. And what are the extent of the damages and how to heal it, the format of how to heal souls on higher dimensions from past injuries from beginning of humanity thousands of years ago. So that became a body of knowledge. And then when that was completed as a body of knowledge, they started teaching me about ancient eras injuries for the soul from original eras of creation, from the beginning of creation, where our soul was only energy, did not yet have physical format to inhibit, in the humanity we have today. There was no physical reality, only energy. And then they gave me the history of evolution of the universes, the universe, humanity, and souls, and the universal lessons of all creation. And the loss of activation keys the soul lost during those eras with the Star Wars and all that. So basically, there were 12 eras where 12 lessons that were universal, and then 12 lessons which were humanity lessons that all souls went through. And so when that body of knowledge was downloaded and I was trained and started to heal all the ancient eras damages on the higher soul, the godhood, the avatar soul, then came the information about the human angels and how to heal them from different eras and past lives injuries, including this life. So they're like 3 bodies of knowledge, all spiritual in nature, but help you to build your total structure back into wholeness, because people lost wholeness spiritually and disconnected from their own higher soul, from the source, and had multiple damages and wrong consciousness because of the matrix that was imposed by dark civilizations in historical eras. Therefore, all this body of knowledge became the one method, the creator's method for healing ancient eras, lessons on souls and all humanity, but all universes, 12 lessons of humanity souls, and archangels healing for humans who are archangels. I'm sorry, for human who are human angels of different ranks and duties. And for general information, the angels told me that out of the total sum of souls of humanity, 45% are angelic, which is a huge amount. But most of them do not know they're angels. They don't define themselves as such, but spiritually they are. And the angelic part and the soul part have to work in unity and healed consciousness together. And that is in addition to 5 specialties of osteopathy and 2 degrees in physiotherapy, which one is chronic pain and orthopedic dysfunction. So all that together brought me to where I am today. So I've been teaching that in the United States while I was there until 95 when I relocated back to Israel. And then I've been teaching since 2004 in Belgium, the one method in NLP schools, where the spiritual growth and evolution through the NLP, that's in Belgium, in Arcturus, it's a NLP school, international NLP school. So I was teaching the spiritual knowledge of how to heal and rehabilitate spiritually and mentally and emotionally people after they learned the NLP, which is emotional mental. Yeah, that's in Belgium, in Huy, in South Belgium, where I'm teaching the 3rd course about the soul wounds. And you can see above my head the picture of a soul multi-level where it's fully healed and complete, versus the other side, that soul is injured and amputated and defiled and doesn't have a field and have lost pieces, and the vortex, the main channel, is gone and disconnected, and it's all in a mess. And that has to be recovered. And people don't know that, they feel it. And when people have a soul wound open while they're alive, they feel terrible. And many people go to hospitals because they feel spiritually or mentally or emotionally totally ruined. And medication is not correcting the structure and the history of the soul. It doesn't bring soul parts back. It doesn't reconstruct the main channel. It doesn't move entities out. It doesn't change the consciousness. It doesn't clear vows and contracts from past lives, which are still up and running until today.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bring back all the lost rights, spiritual rights people lost through the events of the trauma. And they don't know it, and they try to, through mental functioning, to change it, but it doesn't work that way. It's spiritual. Did I give you too much information yet?
No, it's fascinating because, the time is now of we are all one, we are all connected, and we are multi-dimensional beings, and we're all working on many different levels, dealing with different things. So, and for us, is bringing people like yourself on that can share different tools that people can help.
What's possible and what's available.
Exactly.
Exactly. So what I want the listeners to understand is that since 2087, there was harmonic convergence where it was decided galactically that humanity will join the enlightenment evolution of creation on the 13th era, which we entered in 2020, December. And it was a preparation for it. So all humanity was going through elevation. And for that, we have to understand that souls have thousands, 4,000, 5,000 past lives, 12 lessons with humanity, this humanity, and 12 universal lessons from previous eras, and all their dynasty, national history, and personal trauma of this life. All that has to be cleared. How do you do that?
Exactly.
So the Archangel Metatron explained to me that there are 3 changes in the historical management that must have taken place for this to happen. One is erase of the Akashic records for the souls, and also transformation and erase of the heavenly court books, which is the management of creation. And they are literally erasing and transforming the books of how things have to be and erasing the Akashic record. And when that is gone, it can be taken off and lifted off the soul. So then the correction can stay corrected. So then all the karma can be cleared easily without any resistance. So that's number one. Number two, beyond erasing and removing karma, there's also connection to the higher soul, because it was disconnected and was blocked by many, many veils. And people could not connect to their higher soul to use their true force and true essence. And they were managed by metrics, rules, and management, and I would say programming, for thousands of years. So they forgot who they really are. They couldn't feel it, and they focused only on physicality, three-dimensional reality.
Yeah.
And the third thing was to reinstate, heal, reconnect, and activate the human spiritual DNA. And with this humanity, the lowest level of DNA, which are 12 sets of a couple of strands, 12 couples of strands of DNA, were disconnected. We were left with one. But there are 4 sets of DNA. And all humans, or most humans, are privy, they have the privilege to receive them, activate them, and regain their full spiritual force and capacity. And that can manifest in their lives most of the things they want. So there are 4 sets of 12 strands of DNA. So there are 48 sets. So most people don't know about it.
No.
But there are spiritual codes you can activate, and then the DNA strands descend and come to you with the angels that are assigned for that specific purpose. So for the listeners and for those who view this video, you can ask to connect to the source by saying the Creator is one, blessed is kingdom forever and ever, amen. Or the Creator and I are one. And we can connect, and you say it 7 times.
Right.
7 times. And then your 3 times is for connection, and 4 more times is protection of the archangels around the soul. And then you can ask to activate the code of human creation. And that code activate the first set of the 12 DNA strands. So if people do that, they receive their DNA back.
Wonderful.
It's that simple. And it's only by connecting and requesting. So our request is actually an activation instruction for the angels to do it with us.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, and I think, like, you know, I'll go back and write down what you've said, and we can share that and really help humanity on a much bigger level for those that are ready and aware to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is that simple. Today, yes, it is simple. And people need to know that it's only a matter of a code which is coming from the Creator, and then their DNA can be reconnected to them. Just by that request. It is that simple. Just do it.
I just love simple. I don't do complicated. It's just not my way. And it's like my vision is to help people to be the best version of themselves easily and effortlessly and simply. So, you know, this is another tool that, you know, we can share with people to awaken them even more to their wholeness.
Then effortless becomes very easy.
I like easy.
Their spiritual forces come to them, and then they use it naturally. They don't have to labor over anything. Yeah.
So hang on a sec. So all you got to do is say the Creator and I are one. Say that 7 times, and then you simply put a request up and ask for the angels to come and put the 12 strands.
To reconnect your 12 DNA strands, And you say, I asked to activate the code of human creation. Yeah.
Activate the code of human creation.
Yes. And then the strands start to descend and connect to your spiritual part of your soul, and then come down to your physical body and change your physical DNA. And it activates all your cells with your higher power. So it helps to heal. It helps to use your spiritual senses, your vision, your hearing, your knowingness, your inner power, your inner authority, your will, your choice. It becomes clear.
Wonderful. And you know, to do things, because most of us are dealing, like I've been clearing so much past life issues and ancestral issues, and it's just continually, you know, working through and evolving and growing. And so this would be another wonderful tool or a key, because I always think, well, it's another key to activate more of who we are. But it's funny because on the list of 12, you've got circles of life. Well, my sister and I, a long time ago, had a funeral business, and we were circles of life. But we were a bit ahead of our time with the way our approach. But anyway, so I thought, oh, that's interesting. And also, I worked in the mental health lockup unit quite a few years ago now, and seeing how the patients were drugged up and talking to them, and you could see that they had, you know, many entities giving them information, and there was no way they would get any help on the spiritual alternative side. It was just, you know, just drugs after drugs.
Right. So chemicals can block the brain, but it doesn't change the spiritual reality that creates the problem. But I want to go back for a second for what you mentioned as far as being ahead of time. The one method, as I was told by the angels, is one of the ways of the future healing modes that people will use, and it is ahead of time 200 to 300 years.
Really?
So those who are using these forces and God's creators' tools can facilitate their own evolution and move on to a new timeline, the crystalline timeline of eternal life, rather than a timeline where you degenerate and gradually destroy yourself through that mode. So it really helps people to shift, clear karma, activate DNA, rise to fifth dimension or higher,
Yes.
and then shift to a new timeline of eternal life, which makes your body stay alive much longer, stay younger, rejuvenate itself, use 2, 3, 4 sets of DNA for spiritual force and transformation of your insides and capacity to manifest. So it is a total different living reality.
Hey, I'm just typing up here. So just going to put it up on the show. So state the creator in IO1, ask the angels to reconnect the 12 strands of DNA, and then ask for the human, what was it?
The code of human creation.
Ask for the code of human creation. Okay, good. Carry on.
Yeah, and that heal, activate, and connect the 12 strands of the DNA to the spiritual part of the soul and multidimensional descent to the physical body.
Okay.
And it takes few minutes. Yeah.
Okay. You got Jesus on the line already?
No, my assistant Alona, I told her keep the phone quiet.
Operator, I have to play that song now. Operator, I've got Jesus on the line. That's good,
You can ask him to come in person. You don't have to have him on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, free phone call. It's a bit like Anthony Williams, isn't it? When he said in his book, medical medium, and he said, everybody asks for Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel. Hey, the phone's off the hook. Just want to let you know, there's all these angels sitting here waiting for your phone call. Hello. I thought it was so funny.
Right, so you talk to them directly. People tell me, can you please ask the angels to da 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 da? I said,
Yeah.
say it yourself. Why do you need me to be a mouth? Just talk to them. They are here listening to you. Talk, ask.
Yeah. I'm hearing you.
Right.
Yeah.
So Auntie Carol has written, Greg Braden's research indicates a hidden code in the DNA which says God eternal within the body.
Yeah, Greg Braden actually has shown that the distances between the molecules have the sequences of 10, 6, 5, 6, and 5, which is in numerology the numbers which is equal to the letters of the name of the creator in Hebrew. And that's a sequence of the DNA, meaning that it is created by the source. And 10 is Y for Yod in Hebrew.
Oh, Yod, hey, Bod, hey, Yod.
Hey,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these are the sequences of the molecules of the DNA. So it's wonderful to correlate.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
You can
know
play around with those, eh? You can play around with that. Yod, hey, Bod, hey, Yod. Yeah.
Right. These are the letters of the name. Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Hebrew is the fire language, isn't it? It's one of the
Hebrew
five sacred languages.
is a language. The letters and the words are transferring light. Hebrew and Sanskrit are languages that transfer light, and the writing too. Yeah.
Very good. Brilliant.
Talking of
Andrena,
light, more and
you were
more people are channeling light language now, aren't they?
Well, I'd like to mention something about that. There are many people who say we're using the light, they say the language of light, etc. People have to understand, and now I'm getting into teaching mode, but anyway.
That's okay.
From a certain point after creation was divided to light and darkness. And darkness does not mean no light. It means light with different qualities. And when people connect to light and they don't know if it's from the holy side or from the dark side, and they summon or connect or bring that light, that causes a lot of problem because they actually connect to the dark forces and they don't know it.
Yeah.
And then there are basically seven creation forces that are in the, I'm looking for my page for it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So creation of light, I'm just giving it as information for the listeners so they have a better understanding how things are managed from a spiritual perspective. So first, when creation of light and dark separated, the laws for light, which all creation of light follow, is the law of oneness. So the first one was the law of enlightenment. Let there be light. So everything has to come from light. And then came the law of balance. From that, karma originated. And then came the law of wholeness. Everything has to be whole, complete, with the source, with yourself, with all creation. And then came the law of life, that life is sacred. It is the original source of life is from the creator, the one creator. No other force is the source of life. And it is sacred to all those who are with the light. And then came the law of truth. Everything has to be true and correct with the highest truth. And then came the law of protection. People and souls have to be protected so they can thrive, survive, live, blossom, etc. And then the law of joy and happiness. It's a law. It's a universal law to be in happiness. But it's impossible if you're blocked or torn or disconnected. Anyway, so because of these creation laws of light came forces of creation. So the forces of creation, exactly, the forces of creation are light, and that light has life, the force of life. It's like chi, prana, all those names for it, but it is originating from the creator, and it's a force that is all over creation. And then the force of love. Love is not an emotion, it's a force, it's a creation force. And it resonates everywhere in creation. And then the law of compassion, the force of compassion. And then the force of grace. Do good things, do things that are good for everyone, yourself included. Yeah, and then there's the force of wisdom, to know how to use your knowledge to do good, to bring goodness to others with that knowledge. And then abundance. There's endless abundance in the universe. You just have to open up your vessel to receive it. And then the law of unity, or the force of unity, where everything is united, and then you can be well and healthy and wholesome. So these forces are creative forces coming from the laws of light. But when people do not know if they're connected to the creation of light or creation of the other side, and on the other side, the forces are reversed. There is no life, there is no light. The light is empty from all the goodness on the light side. So it's not with love, it's not with light, it's not with compassion, it's with cruelty and suffering. It's not with wisdom, it's with knowledge and artificial intelligence. It's not with grace, it's with control and tyranny. It's not with abundance, it's with poverty and lack. And it's not with unity, it's with separateness and oppositions. So when people say, I'm connected to the language of light, which creation and source are you connecting to bring that in? So that little bit of information that I'm giving you is to help people discern what am I connecting to? I want to the creator of light and creation of light. That's where the archangels help you.
I know in the past, and no disrespect to people that are channelers, but there are, many say I'm channeling Archangel Michael and some of the message, and I think, but what level of Archangel Michael are you channeling, so to speak? Because there's like you said, there's so many dimensions, so many layers, and so many from the darker, if you like, that are looking for ways to come back in, to find a way in and take over. Not take over, but it's like you say, it's having that awareness. Who are you connected with? And making sure you do your prayer and your grounding and all of these things before you start to just channel or bring somebody in that you think is a certain angel or something.
Correct. I think the point you're making is exceptionally important. It's vitally important because channeling with a source which is not of light lead you to wrong information. And people can connect to the Archangel Michael, and he is grand, he's humongous, he's very big, but they have to discern before starting the channeling who is allowed in their space and territory spiritually and who is not, and who they want to hear or talk to and who is not. I mean, you're not going to channel any drunk man who goes on the street and blurs something. You're not going to repeat that.
Mm.
So that means for people who want to channel truthful information, they have to be very, very clear that their channel is connected to a source of light and that there are no deceptions.
Mm.
And I'm going to say something that may make some people oppositional to me, but high spiritual channeling with the archangels and with the creator or with the ascended masters assures that the information you bring is most likely going to be accurate and truthful.
Yes.
Where if you channel dead people, or you channel whoever is talking around, or even aliens, you may fall on those who are oppressed by the dark forces and present themselves in a different way, and then you don't get a true answer, and you may not know what is or isn't, or partial true and partial not. So I totally avoid channeling with aliens or extraterrestrials and with souls of dead people for that reason.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And it is like really being in tune with yourself and protecting yourself, you know, to allow the higher wisdom to come through, so that you can be of service to others. And I know, you know, I've heard people say in the past, or, you know, I was given this channeled information, and they've said something that you wouldn't like a higher being wouldn't say, something nasty, if you like. Just trying to find the best way to say what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's ways of bringing information through that are in alignment with the soul as a part to like disruption, if that makes sense.
Yes, so usually the angelic realm on angels, they have a certain way of speaking. They're always loving, always respectful, always encouraging, always saying the truth, and always protecting, and always empowering. And other forces may not speak in that way. And that is a very good way to discern and differentiate between the sources that you hear, because you may hear all kinds of things, but you have to choose the rightful source of information, and hopefully the most truthful one. And if they talk with profanity, if they talk with scary words and with forbidden, and you cannot do all that, it's most likely not of light, most likely deception on some level. Yeah.
Right. So I know you do like the one method. Do you teach that on Zoom as well as in person?
Well, I am teaching a professional training to do the one method on frontal courses, but because of the corona, I couldn't go to teach for the last few years. But I have at this time one course. It's called 5 Gifts for Life, and it is on. You can get it with a link. It is 2-day seminar, and it is encoding the forces of the creator to the hands. So you can bring the forces and the protections and the tools and the elements and all the codes back into yourself by activation of your hands. And it is on a internet workshop format. So you don't need me. You can listen and do it with me to activate the forces for yourself. But when I teach the courses, the reason I'm not doing it on the internet is because I'm training people for frequencies, and I'm teaching them the frequencies of the different levels of your auric body and the frequencies of your spiritual bodies and your soul bodies. So people, I send them the frequency and they send it back to me. So I have to see that what they're sending me is accurate So I know that when they intend to be on the fifth energy body of the aura, they're right on, and they will always think about energy body 5. They will be at the level of that body and they can access it. So it's not possible to do it through the video internationally. And also I give people the frequency of the brain function to access soul level on higher dimension. For instance, if you want to be mentally alert and focused, you're in beta waves.
Yeah.
But if you want to connect to your aura or your spirit, you have to alter your brain frequency to alpha. And that is 14 to 21 to 14. Sorry, 14 to 7. 14 to 7 cycles per second. Beta is 14 to 21 cycles per second of brain waves. That's why we drink coffee in the morning, to get our brain into beta, because we come from sleep and we are on higher frequencies. And then if we want to access this emotional and mental parts of the soul, we have to be in theta. And theta waves are 7 to 4 cycles per second. That's when you drink tea to get us to alpha and theta waves. Or when we get sleepy and dreamy and daydreaming and with relaxation. And then if we want to access the spiritual soul or the Godhood soul, the divine soul, we have to be in delta. So delta is 4 to 1 cycles per second. They're very long and shallow waves. And that's usually when we're in deep sleep and dreaming, etc. And that's accessing by intent, at will, while awake, your higher soul dimensions and worlds. So you can be awake activating these brain frequencies. So I have to teach it so people can heal the higher the higher soul. They have to be in delta waves and heal it and see it and hear the channeling from the angels on that dimension, because you have to connect to them when you're in delta waves, because that's the realm where they're at. So if you're on FM and they're on AM, you cannot hear it.
Yeah, you need to retune yourself.
Exactly, to the frequency where they are. And then you can hear it. Yeah.
So when clients come to see you, can you look at somebody and you can see what's going on for them and all the fractures or distortions or things? Have you the ability to just look and see where people are at within themselves?
Well,
how do you work?
I use spiritual etiquette and manners. So I don't invade people and start searching their system to see what's what. I don't do that. In session, I ask them what are the things they want me to help them with. And then I look and check at which level the problem is. Because this human soul is humongous. It's universal. So how can you can see so many things. You can see the eras, the past lives, the dynasty, this life, and you can see so many things. So what are you going to focus on? So I ask the clients to tell me what is it that they need or want to deal with. And then I can find where it is on their system and then look and see what's the problem and check, is it an injury? Is it an invasion of entities? Is it attachment of other people? Is it loss of soul parts? Is it a block? Is it a veil or crust? Is it a loss of soul parts? Is it a belief blocking them? Whatever it is. And then I can activate the forces to clear it or bring soul parts back and do the therapeutic process. But first I have diagnostics. So your question is really good, because I'm also using a truth detector.
A truth detector?
Truth detector, yeah. So some people are using pendulum.
Yeah.
but pendulum can be controlled by your own energy and thoughts. So it's not a very accurate tool. And some people use muscle testing or muscle testing, like this. So the body never lies. It cannot lie. So your muscle strength indicates the truth, whatever, depends on what you ask. But then also there are other forces that you can use to get the truth. You can use eye blinking, where actually your upper eyelid is connected to your 6th and 7th chakra.
Right.
So if you ask questions of yes and no, you ask your truth detector through your eyelids to blink when the answer is yes. So you ask, is my shirt white, green, red, purple, gold, blue? Then the blink comes. So the truth is always coming when the truth is energetically accurate with your body. So the blinking is a truth detector. And also I'm using my crown chakra and crown connected to the source through all my levels. And then I can get the motion of the crown for yes and no. So my crown give me the yes motion, and I feel it energetically in my body. So when I ask a question, my vortex, my tube of light and crown chakra move to give me the yes feeling. Therefore, I can ask, is the person problem from ancient eras, past lives, karma, latest past lives? Is it dynasty? Is it from this life? Is it from him? Is it from other person? Whatever. And my truth detector tells me what is the truth about that person. Therefore, it helps to fine-tune the accuracy for the therapeutic process.
Amazing. Because
So
I know.
It's not only auditory guidance by the angels, it's also asking with a truth detector, what is it that we're dealing with?
And I know many people use the pendulum, and I know in the past that, you know, you have to be connected and protected, because like you say, any outside interference can come in and you know, get it swinging this way and that way, and you know, takes you off on another tangent. But I know for me, I did theta, oh gosh, a long time ago now. But I find mostly the easiest way is to stand there and I get my yes or no. I can feel it in my body. So like, for instance, yesterday we were out shopping and I wanted some new toothpaste. And so I always check, is this okay for my body? And then I'll get a yes or no. So
yeah, some people get forward backward motion with their soul moving yes forward and backwards, and you get the truth detector that way. That's excellent way of doing it as well. And some people have a wall of truth. They have like an energy wall, and they feel if it is present, it is true. If there is no wall of truth, it's not true. So there is a line of truth, a wall of truth, and they can feel it by moving their hand, and they feel it energetically in their hand as well. But body motion forward and backward, or head motion, yeah, that's absolutely great.
Yeah, because I know, you know, when I ask, I don't need to sway very much. I just sort of suddenly, I know that's a yes.
You feel the
motion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's excellent.
And
that's for people who are trying to do it for themselves. It can be useful for any aspect of life, basically, not only for spiritual healing. You can use it in the groceries to find if this food is good for you or not. You can even find what is the percentage of accuracy for this food to you. Is it good for me 10%, 10, 50, 40, 90? Is it good for my body, yes or no? Also for medicine or creams or soaps or shampoo or oils or supplements. Yeah, you can say, okay, I have 10 bottles of vitamin C variations. Which one is the best for me? And then you can choose and get the one that will be best for you. because it's not always accurate for each person, because their body is different and their needs are different. So,
And I know, like for people that are starting off, like doing the yes and no, like, so, you know, yes is forward, no is backward, make in most cases. But you could say, like, my name is Susan Smith, and your body will go back. You can do, you know, for people to understand the body, you know, giving questions that are not in alignment, then your body's going to keep giving you no. So that way, then you can sort of say, right, you know, this cup of tea, or this tea is serves my body or my highest good, or whatever. And then, you know, you get your body's giving you that answer. So I mean, I much prefer to do things that way, because I know my body doesn't lie. So
yeah, so that's for people who are first starting to train with using their truth detector through their body, their mind and body. That's an excellent way, because people usually are not trained in checking energetically what's true for them, what's good for them. But when they listen to your example or my example, they can start thinking about, how do I service my highest good, including what I put on my body or in my body. And it has to be supportive and right and accurate and from a highest good. And that is how they can do it very easily. If they have spiritual awareness in their body and energy feelings in their body, they can feel it easily.
Yeah. And it's like the more you do it, you get a knowing without having to move. You know, you're
just
sort
your
of,
thought is enough to activate that reaction. Yes, your intent moves the energy.
I was talking about intentions yesterday. I'd said to you we'd gone to Windsor, so we always put our intention out before we go anywhere, you know. And so we put out that we wanted food for our highest and best today. So we were walking down the Windsor. It's not the high street, but the main street down. And this guy comes out with a plate of freshly made sourdough pizza that was halloumi, tomato, mint, and basil on, and something like that. So, and it was perfect. And he said, this is the chef's new creation. So anyway, we took a piece, and they were quite big pieces. He said, go on, you have 2 pieces each. So we sat down. So that was, our lunch was provided for, but it was really delicious. So it's like having an intention for the start of the day, you know, you're in alignment, and your gratitude and all these little things just make a difference to helping you go through the day and to deal with different things that maybe come in from here, there, and everywhere.
Absolutely. I think the point you made is very, very important for people to manage their reality and to manage their day. So when you come and you wake up and you connect, well, your soul comes back to your body.
Yeah.
And you say your intent for the day. It's actually an activation of the energies, how you want them to function for you from all dimensions, to manifest it for your interest, the best intent. And people get up in the morning, oh, do I have to go to work again?
Yeah.
I don't feel like getting out of bed. I'm so tired. Then that's your intent. No, you don't want that. You want, oh, great, I'm here. Well, what I want today is this, that, and the other. And you say, thank you so much for having all this grace in my life. Yeah, and I want to have a great day and to feel good and to have all the things work perfectly and manage right and all these things to come to me. So you magnetize them to you, and you want good things, the things that you need. So it's brilliant. Yes.
Well, I think, you know, you've shared some amazing activations for people, which is really powerful. And, you know, and it is keeping it simple, is how can we do things easily, effortlessly, and gracefully, as easy as possible. And in that way, then we could be more of service to others, and sharing little tips of information, like, because I feel like I always say I'm caring, sharing, and network. So I'm always saying, oh, go and see this person, try this, have you done this? it's, you know, like just being the networker to share different things to help people, you know, and it's spreading out, it's letting it ripple out.
Yes, so that's part of your angelic mission.
Yeah.
To bring light, to help, to share, to bring unity, to upgrade, to improve things for others, to make things easier and better. Yeah, that's absolutely the way that angels work.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed, you know, what you've shared, because I never know what's going to happen on the show and which way it's going to go, and you know what people are going to share and the information. So I think that's really valuable information, which, you know, is going to go out on its own momentum to touch people. And I shall certainly share this with others.
Thank you.
And you know, and we'll share it here for people. So
Yeah.
yes. So is there any other things that you would love to share that you haven't touched on this morning?
Yes, and this is about the people that feel that life is difficult for them and is not happening the way they want, and they do everything right, but it's not happening. Well, for these people, what my empowerment and direction is to find a therapist or a person who can help to lift off karmatic blocks, which circulate the same model from history still now, and try and remove the karmatic loads as much as possible, because then you're free to move in your own volition, in your own willpower and authority. Otherwise, other loads and energies divert you or block you from doing that. So this is a very important part of evolution. And have awareness if things are not going your way, you're not feeling good. Well, ask, where is it coming from? Not why, but where is it coming from?
Yeah.
And start being aware of the mirroring of life to what's inside you. So that's a great opportunity, like a thread, to start searching and growing and developing and healing yourself, healing your soul, and healing your life. Then quality of existence and reality improves greatly.
Because I know for myself and a lot of my friends that are the same sort of age on paper, is the technology side. I know I do my best to address technology, but oh my gosh, in the past, it's been the most challenging thing for me to deal with. I'm much more of a hands-on, and the different issues that I've had has been unbelievable. So what have you got for us that really are not tuned to technology, but doing our best to work with technology?
So there are two options: or find the source and the reason for that block. Is it from this life? Is it from other lives? Is it the dynasty? Is it the nation? Or is it other blocks? And then if you don't have that capacity with your truth detector, then you get a good man like Jeff to do it for you.
That's what she's been doing for the last 30 years.
Yes. So for myself, I'm the same way. I'm not technological. I have great qualities and talents, but technology is not one of them. Yeah, and I don't want to waste my time on bothering myself with that. So I have other people do it for me, and I pay for them, and for me it's great.
Well, I'm calling in for a new assistant to work and help with me.
Exactly. So I have other people do it for me, and I focus on what I'm good at and what I can really contribute and make a difference for others.
Yeah.
And I don't waste time on that. Other people, they love to do it. It's their force. It's their quality. It's their talent. Let them bring it on.
Exactly.
So for Jeff was doing such a great job here in managing all the show. Great thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Right. There was something else I was going to ask you, but it's popped out. Anything you want to ask, Jeff, while I'm trying to recall what I was going to say?
No, you've done very well. Hey, when I saw your name, I thought it's a Israeli version of Aussie. Aussie.
Oh, Australia. No, my Hebrew name, my given Hebrew name is Osnat, and that is the biblical name of the wife of Joseph, which was in Egypt. He was the second to the Pharaoh. He was one of the 12 sons of Jacob in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And he was sold to slavery to Egypt, and then he rose and became the second to the Pharaoh, and he managed all the economy of Egypt. And his wife's name was Osnat, and that's an Egyptian name for a goddess, one of the goddesses of Egypt. And it is a common Israeli name, but for most people outside of Israel, especially in the States, in the United States, it sounds terrible. So I go by Osie, which is a common nickname for that name.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, you mentioned you're in the kibbutz. I used to work for the Israelis. I'm sure I worked for Mossad, actually. There's a company called Zim Lines. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Zim Lines.
Zim, yeah, it's the Israeli shipping company.
That's right.
Greatest shipping company. Yeah.
They used to do a bit of underhand secret stuff. Hey, so when you're kibbutz, were you in the southern parts down towards Eilat? Or you further up north towards Ashdod or Haifa?
The kibbutz I was born and raised in, I left at age 25, is near Jerusalem.
Okay.
And it's the hometown of Samson. You know the biblical story of Samson and Delilah.
Yep.
So that's his hometown of village where he was raised. And there are the archaeological findings of that village from the biblical time, and the next door neighbors, Philistines, where Delilah came from. And they found the actual places in the vicinity. So the name of the kibbutz is the biblical name of that village. It's called Tzorah, and in Israel, near Jerusalem. And it is a biblical village known and mentioned in the Bible. It still exists. Yeah, near Jerusalem, a little bit west of this green part. It's about 30 minutes away from Jerusalem. Yeah, right around there, somewhere there. And yeah, you can find the antiquities and the archaeological findings proving the fact that the Bible is a historical book, not only theological book or religious book. It's actually historical documentation of everything that happened as well. We always find it in the antiquities.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really nice when you go in places in your own country and it's written in the Bible about it, and you walk there still today and you see it the same way they describe it 3,000 or 5,000 years ago. It's still the same place, and you find the antiquities and the mosaics and the ruins and all that. You find it there, and it's the same places that were mentioned. They were there, so you know it is true. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Wow. Well.
Yeah.
Right. It's just off the beaten track there, isn't it?
Just a little.
No.
Right. So, have you got any more traveling to do now? Are you? Have you got any more adventures where you're going off training and teaching?
Well, I'm planning on. First of all, I'm planning to finish, hopefully soon, my book. This is the Hebrew version of the One Method.
Right.
As you see here on the on the front. It's 6 powers protection, which removes evil eye, curses, and witchcrafts, which is humanly made blocks to block people from achieving their free will. So that is a 6 power protection given by the creator. And this is a 450 pages book. I'm finishing the translation hopefully soon to English, so it will be available for the public. I'm also writing the second book about all the human lessons, the DNA and the era lessons of creation, and also a book about the angels, the human angels, their history, their forces, their duties, their specialties, etc., how to heal them. And I'm doing internet courses for the human angels, so people in English can purchase and learn about it, not only from a book, because it takes longer to write a book. And I'm also having an internet course for healing the soul wounds of the original lessons of humanity. So that will be ready soon. And I'm also training professionally people how to do the one method. At this time, I'm doing it in Israel, but I'm working on doing it in the Czech Republic, Slovenia, and all the nearby countries. So I have lots of things on my plate. Of course, I see clients every day, all day. And so I have lots of things. I'm also training therapists in Israel to do the one method. I have groups, internet group, and professional groups that I give lectures once a month, once in 2 weeks, to upgrade their knowledge, capacity, and understanding, to support them and help them. So yeah, I have plenty of things I'm doing.
Do you sleep at night?
Well, yes, I do. From about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning until 7, 8. Yeah.
All right.
It's not enough, but on Saturday I catch up.
All right.
Yeah. I have a lot of things I'm doing. Also, I have 2 children.
Right.
These children are adopted from Ukraine. The boy is from Costa Rica, and my daughter is from Ukraine. They are now 25 and 22. But when I was in my 40s, I adopted them. My son I adopted when I was 43, and my daughter I adopted when I was 46.
Lovely. Oh.
Yeah, so I have an international family.
Yeah, fabulous.
Yes.
And are they carrying on your work as well?
Well, actually, they're both very psychic, but they have their own path, and I support their path, because I understand they came to my life. I took them to my life to help them, to give them better foundation for growth and evolution, but I support them on their path. So my son is taking a path of oceanology. He loves the ocean and all fish and corals and all the life in the ocean. And he's also a gemologist. And my daughter loves internal design. And she works with managing restaurants. So they have different directions, but both of them are doing what their soul is calling them to do. And I understand and I support them on their path, not what I think they should be. But
Yeah. Oh, well, this has been fabulous. I've so enjoyed talking with you and connecting with you, and you sharing all these beautiful wisdom. So thank you so much for being our guest today.
Welcome.
It's been
You're
an
very
absolute
welcome.
delight.
And it's my pleasure to be with you, and thank you for inviting me and for the freedom to say all I want to share, and for the opportunity to allow your audience to upgrade their being and their life with this information.
Well, I'm all for that. Upgrade and upgrade.
Exactly. Yes.
That's what Dreaming the New Dream's all about, isn't it?
Exactly. So that comes greatly with accuracy to your mission. Yes.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thank you to all our listeners that have tuned in today.
Yes. thank the listeners for listening and taking the time for themselves to grow.
Exactly.
Yes.